now we're going to talk about bent over row. Now, a lot of people with the bent over rowing exercise treat it as a lower back exercise, and that's entirely understandable because it does work your lower back a lot. However, it's not only the lower back that is worked. You also, to a very large extent, work the latissimus dorsi and the muscles of the back, and to an extent also the shoulders, the triceps, and depending on your grip, potentially the biceps, the forearms, and so on. The reason people think of it most of the time as a lower back exercise is that throughout the exercise your lower back is held in position and loaded, resisting the weight. And so, unlike a lot of exercises, the lower back actually remains static most of the time. So, a typical stance for bent over row is a little bit like downhill skiing. I'm not a skier, but it always looks that way to me. In other words, I'll come up to the bar, I will bend over, set a position here, I might go all the way down here, might be up a little bit higher, but basically lock myself into this position, and this is basically where I do the whole exercise from. Just show you. From here, look forwards, pull. Now, I can pretty much lock myself in that position, brace myself against the legs, and I'm fairly stable. That, however, is not the only way of doing a bent over row. It's particularly good, especially if you're planning on rowing higher up to the chest. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But this generally sort of almost 45-degree angle, if you like, almost horizontal with the body, is a good position to do your bent over rows, especially if you're using a relatively light weight, you're trying to isolate, or you're trying to row to put more emphasis away from supporting this free, locking the body in and pulling up to the chest. What tends to happen, whether deliberately or accidentally, is as people increase weight or become fatigued, their posture tends to change. So for example, you might, with a lot of people, see them start off and they'll do their first set around here. Now that's fine. Bump. Then maybe they'll either put a little bit of extra weight on the bar or they'll get a bit tired and their body posture starts coming up a bit. And rather than rowing to the chest, they start rowing more to, say, around the solar plexus, a bit below the chest. And as maybe they put a bit more weight on and get more tired, the bar then starts coming more to the stomach, and their body posture is now way, way above the starting point. Now, whether that's a problem or a good thing really depends what you're trying to get out of the exercise. If you're a bodybuilder trying to isolate a certain part of your anatomy to make all the emphasis on those muscle fibres, then you probably really don't want to be doing that. You want to be using a weight that you can handle and keeping your body, for example, low and rowing to the chest the entire time. If, on the other hand, you're trying to hit the entire musculature in the back, you may well want to deliberately alter your body position, deliberately row more to the chest, the solar plexus or the stomach on different occasions, and likewise alter your grip, which I'll be talking about in a little bit. Now, one of the simple things to bear in mind is that the position you row to, if I just grab this for a second, if I'm bent over and I'm rowing, if I bring the bar to my chest, then the main area on my back that's being worked is pretty much in a line with where the bar ends up. So if I row high to the chest, I'm working the muscles higher up my back. If, on the other hand, when I'm bent over here, I row a bit lower down, again, I'm working then more of the middle of the back, and surprise, surprise, if I'm rowing more to the stomach, I'm working more of the lower back. Now, obviously, if your aim was to work high up the back, focusing on that area of your lats, and you, through fatigue or putting too much weight on the bar, can only manage to row to the lower stomach, then it's not effective. On the other hand, if you want to target the lower back, that's absolutely fine. It's quite important to bear in mind that the way you'll exercise will change depending upon your precise reason for doing a specific exercise at a specific time.